Hello, everybody. Happy Sunday. Welcome into another Arkansas football recruiting report with Otis Kirk. As always, that's Otis Kirk. I'm Evan Kamiko. Otis, it's been a little while since I've seen you. How you doing? Your Lakers
Yeah,
looking not
doing
too
great,
shabby right
Evan.
now. Big win last night.
Oh, that was huge, man. I never dreamed they'd beat Denver, and I never dreamed they would blow them out. I was covering for the newspapers for the Razorback football. I'm sorry, basketball and baseball, and watching the Lakers. It was a trifecta. Everybody won. Everybody won. Going into the day, I didn't know. I had a good feeling about that Arkansas Missouri game. I'm not going to step on his feet, but I had a good feeling all week about that Missouri game for some reason. Uh, but yeah, it was a great day yesterday. But yeah, the Lakers looked great. Luka broke out of it, didn't he?
Yes, he did. All right, let's get into what we're here to talk about, and that is
Yeah,
football and recruits. We've got a bunch that we're going to go through. Four-star guys in Arkansas
yeah.
in the class of 2026. Let's start with Mark Tree running back Terry Hodges. What do you got on him?
I tell you what, I really think he's one of the best running backs in the country. I really do. He's got a lot of offers to show for it. I feel like right now, probably just Arkansas, Missouri, probably be at the top of his list. He's going to have a long list, but those right now, Sam Pittman, Kobe Smith have made a good effort to show him he's a priority in this class. He's. I tell you about Hodges. He could come in. He will come in and play as a freshman for somebody, Evan. I really believe that. With the transfer portal, a lot of freshmen kind of don't get that much action in this day and age. But I really look for Hodges to come in and make an impact wherever he goes, an instant impact. He's that good. He plays basketball. They went and watched him play basketball recently, and that impressed him. I feel like Arkansas is kind of taking that extra step with him to show him that he's wanted. And he was one of the first kids that when Sam went out in this period back in January, that was one of the first kids he saw, and it made an impression on Terry. And but yeah, Arkansas and Missouri are right there. He's got a lot of Auburn, Ole Miss, USC. The standard. And I'll tell you, a school that's offering a lot of these kids is Purdue with Barry Odom. They're offering a lot of these Arkansas kids, and so that's kind of a natural there. And they're mentioned here, Florida State. I know listeners like that, but no, I mean it's a lot of schools that recruit, and more so now are coming into Arkansas than ever because the talent in this 2026 class is really loaded. I mean, it's really extraordinary. It's extra good talent, extraordinary talent, and they know it. And all these kids have a lot of options. But Hodges is right up there with the best of anywhere in the country at running back. I like him a lot, Evan. And you don't say, or I don't a whole lot about kids getting to play early, but with the portal and everything, like I said earlier. But this is one that I think will, and it's a position where freshmen can play. We've seen it happen. Braylon Russell played this year.
Hmm.
And he's a different back than Braylon. He's more of a speed guy, obviously not 240, 250 pounds like Braylon, but he's got power. He's more of a speed running back. But I tell you, he and Braylon together would be a nice 1-2 punch. Of course, you got the other kids too, like the running back from Parkview that we had on
Cam
here.
Settles, yeah.
Like a lot, kid in Atlanta, Texas, if he plays running back, batting. But whatever. But no, Hodges is somebody to keep an eye on. Arkansas would love to get a commitment from him. But I think he's the priority at running back in this class, period. In state, out of state, anywhere. That's their priority player right there at running back.
High praise right there. Not to mention, too, Colby Smith, one of those guys. It seems like every running back that we've talked to, whether it be on the team last year during fall camp or, any of the high school guys that you've gotten to bring on the show or we've talked to elsewhere, have all said nothing but good things about Colby Smith. And just seeing, his ability to connect with these guys at a fundamental level, I think is really impressive when it comes to not just being a football player, because Colby Smith has done it at the highest level and now he's given back. And
Yeah,
we've seen that pretty much when everybody that we talk to. As we move on, we'll
yeah.
go to the offensive line and stay on the offensive side of the ball. Evan Goodwin, an O lineman from Bauxite. What do you got?
Yeah, and people may get confused there when you say Bauxite, but that's correct. He's played at Pulaski Academy till this year. He's from Bauxite. He's going to go home and play his senior year at Bauxite, which is outside of Little Rock. But he has spent his other years at Pulaski Academy, built a big resume. Ohio State recently offered him. Eric Mateus was one of the first coaches to offer him when he was at Baylor. And he told me at the camp last summer, Evan comes to the camp every year up here, and he told me that he was really impressed with Coach Mateus because he showed him interest at Baylor. like I said, one of maybe his first offer when he was at PA. And so Eric did a good job there, and he's got them in the hot. Notre Dame, Mississippi State, Missouri, Ohio State, Notre Dame. It's just Wisconsin's in there. Big offensive lineman, someone that could block for Hodges. And but Evan is about 6'7", a little over 300 or over 300 pounds. Certainly got the size and the athletic ability, and one of the best players in Arkansas, regardless of position. But good to see him go back to bauxite. Nothing against Pulaski Academy, but he's going to represent his home city or hometown there, and and it means a lot to him. He told me to go back to bauxite, and so we'll see how that works out. But his recruiting has certainly taken off, and the Hogs are in the mix. I don't think he's got a favorite right now. I mean, I know he likes Ohio State and Notre Dame. I know he likes Missouri, but he likes everybody. And just going to be one of those deals where we'll have to see how this plays out. But if there's a high school offensive lineman who's capable of playing pretty early, it's probably him.
Yeah, tough task when you're throwing out colleges. Then two of them are in the national championship game this past year. Always going to make
Yeah.
recruiting that much harder, especially for a program that's 6-6 like Arkansas was. And now we'll kind of stay in the trenches for our next two guys. We'll start with a kind of dual offensive and defensive lineman, Danny Beal from Cross County.
Yeah. The home of Wayne Martin, the older fans will remember Wayne Martin, first round draft choice from Cross County, that Cherry Valley over there at Cross County High School. But, Danny is an offensive, defensive lineman, as you said. I like him better on defense. Here's my philosophy on that, Evan. I think if you're a prospect and you can play both, if you're up in there, I think you put them on defense first. And then if it doesn't work out, you can move them to offense. It's a lot easier to move defense to offense than offense to defense. It's kind of like, Carius Kern was in this class. Marion in the 25 class was similar in the fact that, some schools liked him for offense, some liked him for defense. And he went to LSU, and I think he's going to be an offensive lineman there. But I like Beal a little bit better on defense, but it doesn't matter. He's an impact player on either side of the ball. He's a four. Well, all of these we're talking about are 4-stars, so I'm not. But no, Arkansas and Ole Miss, pretty much the same schools. They're involved. Missouri's involved there. Ole Miss, obviously. Georgia. I mean, just like most of these players, he's got all kinds of offers. He's about 6'4", 315. Got really good size. But I know. I think Arkansas has told him he can play on either side of the ball he wants to play on, and we'll see if the Hogs can land him. But he's just talented. I mean, that's all you can say about him. He's just got a lot of talent, and I wouldn't be surprised if he plays defense that he got on the field pretty early. Maybe offense he might need a year there to adjust. I don't know, but on defense, I think he can play pretty much immediately. And we'll see which one he chooses, where he chooses to play. I think is first, and then what position he plays when he gets there. But, I do prefer him on defense. But, I mean, each college kind of talks to him about they've got their own preference. Some like him for offense, some like him for defense. But he can play on either side. That's the biggest thing. It doesn't really matter because it's not like, well, he can't play on offense or he can't play on defense. He's going to play on one side or the other and probably could play on both, So, but Arkansas in the fight. And right now, I guess that's all you can ask is just try to get a visit. And just like you're doing on the rest of these kids, and get him on campus and see what happens. That's a long way over there. In Cross County, he's over there a lot closer to Ole Miss than it is Arkansas. But he does represent Arkansas. If he comes here. So, but I know Missouri is really hard. They're on all these kids, though. I mean, They do a good job of getting in the state, trying to get these kids. But hopefully Arkansas keeps him at home because I think he's going to be a future kid in the NFL on either side of the ball. Wherever he plays in college, I think he's got a future even beyond well beyond college.
Yeah, and there's nothing more important than versatility in today's game. You see that with defensive backs, I feel like, in wide receivers more than anything, but also in the trenches, also really important. And as we stick in the trenches, sticking kind of going back to that Little Rock area, we got two guys left. And then, Otis, I want to get your overall thoughts on the, everyone in 2026. But Anthony Kennedy, D lineman from Little Rock Central, another one of those guys, Otis, that's on that in the trenches, and that's a big focus for Arkansas.
Yeah, we had him. We had on him on here when he was offered by Arkansas. He was at Maumelle. Well, I think he was actually at Southwest High School then over in Little Rock. Then he went to Maumelle and played his played last year, and now he's at Little Rock Central. His brother, a quarterback, a young kid, was recently offered by the Hogs too. And Anthony's committed to Missouri, but my understanding is he's going to take an official visit to Arkansas. That's basically, he committed to Missouri on December the 14th, I believe it was, and and made that decision early. But Arkansas is not going to give up. So they're not going to quit recruiting him because he committed somewhere. And if they get him on campus, if he truly takes an official visit here, then they'll have a good chance. Purdue once again is trying to get him. Barry's got a lot of ties to the state. Got some coaches like James Shebest that played here on his staff. Got other coaches on his staff that are very familiar with Arkansas because they coached here. Michael Shearer and a bunch of those guys were actually assistants here at Arkansas too. So Barry's going to ride that, but I don't know. But it just gives a lot of these kids another option, especially some of them maybe that Arkansas doesn't offer later on. Maybe they're going to look at Purdue. But Anthony certainly got those offers. Got a bunch of them, and you want to think Arkansas will get a visit, And I tell you, Central's coming back. We had a running back there on the show 2 or 3 weeks ago from Little Rock Central, younger kid, 27 class, I believe. So Central's making a return. They used to be one of the premier schools in the state, Evan. Yeah. It kind of went down, or as far as football, not down, but I mean they kind of lost some. Kids started going to elsewhere, Parkview, PA, and Bryan, other school, but they're kind of making a comeback, it looks like, and getting kids like Kendi does nothing but make your program better. He's a true defensive lineman, no versatility. Well, he's versatile enough to play, but I mean, no question, he's going to be. I don't mean no versatility. He's going to be on defense, definitely going to be on defense, and he's capable of playing end, tackle, anywhere, inside, outside on that line. He's one of the better players in the state. And a big player too, 6'6", 6'7", or 6'5", and about 290 pounds. Just can get out there and play and make an impact. And I think he could make an impact as a freshman too. I sound like a broken record on that.
It seems to be a common theme today.
Well, it does, but these are the 5 of the premier players in Arkansas. And in the country too, because they're all 4-star and they're ranked really high. But I feel like Anthony at defensive end though could probably come in and make a pretty quick impact, and he will at Missouri, Arkansas, or any school he chooses. But there again, he's got a younger brother who's a quarterback and really good. Arkansas's already offered him, and so we'll just have to see how all this works out. But Arkansas certainly not going to stop recruiting the kid because it's committed elsewhere.
Yeah, and I think Hog fans would get a real kick out of being able to, get a Missouri commit who's from Arkansas to turn back and go to Arkansas. So I think they'd have a little bit of a field day with that at a certain point in time if it does happen. Let's kind of wrap up with at least our breakdown of each individual player. The last one, we got a linebacker from Little Rock Parkview, and that's Jakori Smith.
Yeah, and they're again, that kid, he's not very big. He's probably 6'1", 200, maybe 190, 195 pounds. Evan, not the biggest linebacker, but one of the best. He can run very fast. I talked to him yesterday, actually, and he's got speed. Played on that state championship team for Brad Bowling, who went to North Little Rock. I don't know. I haven't heard anything about Jakori following him to North Little Rock. We'll have to see if that happens. But right now he's at, of course, Brad's brother is now the head coach at Parkview. So, he may stay there. But he's got Arkansas, Mississippi State, Missouri, OU, Ole Miss, Tennessee, A&M.
You name
Florida
it, he's got it.
Michigan. Yeah, I mean, just Notre Dame. You name it, he's got an offer from them. Oklahoma State's in there. But Jakori is just someone that in a day and age where the linebacker, in some cases, almost got to be a safety, where they've got to defend the pass as much as it's not the old 3 yards of cloud of dust that Woody Hayes, those guys had, Barry, Frank Rules and Darrell Royal, and those guys had back earlier. It's not the 3 yard cloud of dust. The linebacker in this day and age almost got to be a safety and be a defensive back, and Jakori can do. That's where his strength is his ability to cover the pass or defend the run. Even though not big, he's so fast and he's got a mean streak on the field. Nice kid off of it, but on the field, he's got a mean streak, plays hard, and he will strike you. He will hit you. So it'll be, he's one that Arkansas is certainly on, and we'll just have to see where he ends up at the end. I don't have a feeling on him, but I do know that, Arkansas signed a couple of those Parkview kids in the class last year. Came in at midterm. They one went to OU, one went to Kansas State, and two went to Arkansas. But Jakori's right there with them, rated like they are. And like I said, he just have to. I like him because he's capable of just he can cover the passing game. He can defend the pass so well. That's what I like about him, because and his size is not a detriment when it comes to defending the run. A lot of times a smaller linebacker, but he's kind of like the Shelton kid from Dallas South Oak Cliff that signed with Arkansas, was the player of the year in the Dallas Fort Worth Metroplex. Not very big, about 200 pounds, just like Jakori, but he was player of the year down there. Arkansas signed him. They like T. Will likes smaller linebackers who could. Well, he obviously love for him to be 6'4", 250 and run a 4.4.
That's the dream.
Travis feels like, or T. Will feels like he can take those guys though and fit them into his defense, and they fit like a glove. He's not worried. He's one of the coaches who's not worried about size at linebacker.
Yeah, sounds to me. Yep.
Yeah, I mean that's something he's not concerned with the size, and I think that's a plus. And as I said, in this day and age, that's smart to do, because like I said, now you've got to be defensive back as well as a run stopper, and Jakori can do both.
Yeah, I was going to say, Otis kind of sounds a little bit like Anthony Switzer, who would go back and forth from being a linebacker and a DB. And
exactly.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but that's kind of the comp that I'm hearing from what you're describing him. And now let's wrap up. I want to look at this in the big picture, right? We've talked about all of these guys. They're all some of the top players in Arkansas, all 4 stars. When you look at kind of the top end talent that there is in young high school kids in the state of Arkansas, what really impresses you the most about kind of just the overall class of 2026?
What I like about it is there's a little bit of everything. Seems like, they've got a couple of commitments. Tucker Young's committed to Williams, Kip, and Fayetteville. We've had both them on here. Safety from Fayetteville, offensive lineman from Lakeside. As I said, we've had both on here. They've got a linebacker from Rogers that they recently offered that's got about 25 offers. He's not rated right now. I don't know why, because in some schools want him as a tight end, some want him as a linebacker. And then you got the wide receiver at Bentonville, who actually was going to be on here today, but he had a 7-on-7, which so many kids do right now. And so, but I just like the versatility in that 2026 class. There's a little bit of everything. There's some speedy wide receivers. There's some linebackers. There's some big defensive, big linemen. And that you can never get too many of those. And there's a lot of those in this class. And then some defensive backs. So I feel like it's a pretty complete class. I personally, and I know probably catch heck for saying, I personally think Arkansas is making a mistake not recruiting Kane Archer harder. But Kane's a very good quarterback in that 26 class. Somebody will get him. But I feel like Arkansas is making a mistake there. That's just my opinion. And, they've got to do what they believe, and they do. But he's another one. Somebody will get a very good quarterback out of the state of Arkansas. But overall, I just like the fact that there's a little bit of everything for you. You got the talented stud running back, some receivers. You got the linebackers, so there's 2 or 3 linebackers. So just a little bit of everything for the recruiters, and they're taking notice because they're all in here this year, Evan. They were in here in December and January. They were beating down the doors at these schools, seeing these kids. And, Sam needs to keep as many of these at home as he can. And if he does, regardless of what they do out of the state, if he gets the majority of these in-state kids, it's going to be a very good class. And then, of course, he will mix in the portal kids later with that. And but if he can keep the majority of these 2026 kids at home, it's going to be a very good class regardless of what else happens.
Yeah, Otis, I love that we sound like a broken record. Anytime I feel like I'm on here with you, our message is always keep these in-state kids in the state of Arkansas. You don't want them leaving, especially going to rivals like LSU, Ole Miss, or Mizzou, Texas as well.
Yeah.
So always something important. Otis, is there anything that we missed before we wrap up?
No, just the fact that, I think in spring, I'd like to get out and see as many of these kids as we can. Spring practice will start, and then that way Arkansas will start having these kids come in and watch spring. Then the official visits start. So it's all getting ready to start taking shape here. More recruiting, hot news once these dead periods end. And But spring training is approaching. I don't have the date. I don't know if you do or not. I have not heard the exact date that spring football starts, but I'm ready for it, and I think they're ready for it. And this is an interesting season. They've got a killer schedule over there in football. I mean, you go to Memphis, you got Notre Dame coming here, you got Arkansas State that's their Super Bowl, so it's going to be a tough schedule. But what's new? I mean, that's what Arkansas gets every year is a tough schedule,
No easy sledding in 2025. Looking forward to spring football that gets underway in the next couple of weeks. We'll have all your coverage here on the Arkansas Football Recruiting Report. For Otis Kirk, I'm Evan Camico. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see y'all back here next Sunday.